Good morning, everyone. And I would like to say a welcome to my channel. Why? Because you may have noticed some channel changes, and if you did, I am thankful. If you have only arrived today, I am Shay. I was born Sharon, but I am working on changing my legal name to Shay. But I have some issues. Want to know what the issue is? AI, because I don't want to be caught somewhere and I don't have access to getting somewhere because they're looking for. But anyway, I was I was compelled this morning to do something that I needed to do for a long time. I've been contemplating on removing my entire channel because it's clearly not working for me, and not in a way that I can explain to you, but for me. Um, I didn't want to be linked to certain keywords of my past life. I want to be in today of my current life. My current life is healing through depression, bipolar, anxiety, and all those things, as well as me being frugal, trying to mainstream myself into today's world. I lived with anxiety for a number of years, like as many as I can remember. I have recently became aware of where my trauma began. And my trauma began when I was a minor child. I may not go into all of that, but that's only because other people who are in their own healing or whatever, or may have forgotten or just don't care, don't need to be reminded of my struggle. I suffer every day with anxiety. At this current moment, my stomach is in knots because before I started this channel, I had to collect my inhaling and all that other stuff, which you probably can tell I'm still having issues with. I am working really hard on not living in the past. I want to focus on today. I want to sometimes forget that tomorrow is there because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So I work really hard on living in today. So today I'm going to tell you what I am enjoying at 9:30 in the morning. It's about 9:36 actually. I started my day at about 3 a.m. So I was in the bathtub at 3. I was, trying to get in the gym at 5 and, stuff like that. So it is what it is. It is time for me to have my snack, and I only have one little piece of snack left, but I am going to enjoy it. But I'm going to show it to you. This is what I'm eating. I purchased this from Aldi. That's Aldi right there. So I'm sitting here now with a bowl of my snack. Now, this was not my desired snack. I like Doritos. I like Lay's potato chips. I like Ruffles potato chips, but I'm working really hard on not buying any of those brands. So I haven't been buying them. I love them. I'm not going to say I don't love them. I do. But when I did the research, each and every one of them are not good for me. So what I have been eating is these. But they're delicious. They're delicious. But I figured out something a long time ago within myself. I just didn't know where to go to find it. I need the crunch. That's it. I need the crunch. So, I'm enjoying these. If I had a child, grandchild, children, doesn't matter. This is what I would put on the table. Now, I'm not sure. There could be something in here that's not good for someone else, but this works for me. So I'm taking care of me. Mm, 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 mm. I am so okay. I did say it's 9:36 in the morning, right? I have an issue with the time. Don't know where it comes from, but I'm always trying to regulate the time. I don't know what it is, but it is. I'm going to tell you what I did about maybe an hour ago. I did just wake up because I conked out, boys and girls. I was on the stove making my egg this morning. Mm-mm. I was dizzy, boys and girls. I was 2 seconds from hitting that floor. So I ended my video right at some point, and I went to Mattressville, and I was calmed out. But I washed two nightgowns in my bathroom sink. I washed two of my t-shirts in the bathroom sink, and I washed three private items in the bathroom sink. And when I was washing them, I made my little vinegar and laundry soap water. And when I was washing them, I took that time to talk, to pray, to make some schedules in my mind and do things. I'm working really hard on finding routines I can put myself into that would allow me to not have all of the chaos in my head. One of the things that I struggle with, which I was in the midst of saying something else, but I am in the process of learning to be kinder to myself because this is my reality. If I speak down to myself, I'm going to stay down to myself. So I'm working on me. So while I was washing my clothes, I was remembering that I like the scent of the laundry detergent. I like the bubbles in the sink. I like the feeling of my hand knowing that I'm treating myself with kindness and love. I could have taken that moment to sit down and make a greeting card. I could have did whatever. I could have just sat in the bed. I chose to do something that was fundamental for me because why? I like clean clothes. Now, it does not matter that I have money on my laundry card and that the laundry is right across the hall. There are times when I have to do what works for me. I was speaking to a friend about that laundry room, and she asked a question, and the question she asked was a yes. But I've noticed this morning that that yes is actually a no. So I went in the bathroom and I just looked through my laundry hamper and I pulled out two shirts and I washed two shirts, pulled out two night dresses and washed those and washed, a few other items and hung it on my little hanging rack in the bathroom. And what does that show me? That I love myself. So it is what it is. One of the things about dealing with mental health illness is that I was born this way. So in that in that sentence, I'm going to say, if you are dealing with something, and it does not have to be mental health, it could be something that you cannot change, even if you wanted to, and you were born that way. Find something that is positive, find something that you like, find something that you love. If you don't find it, that's still okay. Take your time, lay on your bed, look up at that ceiling, and make that ceiling, and that's it. And you will find yourself little by little starting to feel a little better. I was in here sometime between 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and I started feeling a certain type of way. I felt the tears coming. I felt this shock pains in my chest, and I knew I had to find something to distract my mind. So what did I do? I got the dustpan in the broom, and I started walking around. And I only used my vacuum cleaner once in this apartment. This floor is wooden, as you can tell in some of the pictures, and I already know the person underneath me can hear me, so I don't want to use my vacuum cleaner on my rugs. So the blessing is I don't wear shoes around my house like that. So when I say shoes, I mean something I move outside and just come walking over my rug. I like to walk barefooted, baby. So there goes that. So I just took my little sweeper and then there are times when I feel the madness coming and I'll go in the bathroom and I'll just start cleaning the toilet or I'll clean the sink. And if I'm really going dark, I do other things. But there are days I can't walk. My neuropathy is that dang bad, boys and girls. So there are days I'm in here on my knees. Now, my gout is getting better. Turmeric and black pepper is helping me in ways I just cannot even sit here and explain to you. But the days when I'm on my knees because I cannot manage, to stand up, that's when I'm reminded that my knees are bad. So it is what it is. Yesterday I came home and my knees were really bad. I was in the elevator trying to fight my tears. I am sure they can hear me. And I was bending my knee, rubbing my knee, flexing my knee, turning it or which way I could. And then I realized it wasn't about anything yesterday but that bad. So it is what it is. I have a love affair at this moment with trying to find ways to save. So I am sitting here now. I'm going to get a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to work on some of my budget. I try to get into my budget, really into my budget, the 15th of the month to allow me to know where I have to go when my disability check drops down. I kid you not, I am so thankful for so many things, but I live in fear every single day. Every single day. Like a few minutes ago, I wanted to lift my blinds and let in some of the beautiful sunlight. When I look out and see all of those trees, whatever I have in my mind about trees is a constant because that window is facing the only direction I have towards my bed. So I just pull down the blinds. It is what it is. Boy, that heat must have, the air must have turned off. Ooh, but but I have been living in a state of fear to where I try to be something that I wasn't able to be just to fit in places I just don't care about fitting in anymore. It is not about me trying to be in someone else's reality. I have to be in my own reality, and that's just it. I have to be in my own reality. What I am doing now is trying to figure out what the freak I can eat because my body is turning down almost everything. And when I'm speaking to doctors, they're not listening. Like a little while ago, I made a sandwich and I made it with the wheat bread. As soon as I ate the bread, I got whoa, and it was nothing I could do. But I did do some research and I used something that a lot of people don't like. And I do have 2 or 3 words that completely describes what I'm going through. And I am going to take it to my doctor when I go see the doctor because I was so amazed to learn recently in a few groups that I'm in that a certain app that a lot of people don't like, and we have reasons not to like it, actually cured what was wrong with them that a doctor could not. So yesterday my doctor asked me, no, the day before yesterday my therapist asked me, do I like ChatGPT? And I said, yes, for what it has helped me with. And I am almost positive he knows exactly what it has helped me with. But one of the things that we cannot get away from is there are people who go to school 4 years, 8 years, 2 years, whatever the case may be. They get their little book, and their little book tells them this, and this, and this is what they learn. But there is no one who can really tell you unless they live it. So no one can tell you about bipolar, depression, manic, none of that unless they actually lived it. I don't care what you read in a book. You do not know the storm of having 15 voices in your head and being around people realizing that you may be talking and no one's in the room and someone here. I was horrified yesterday. You wouldn't believe what happened to me. I was sitting here doing some business cards for someone, and I forgot that the man was in the room doing the cable wire, and I heard a voice ask me a question, but the voice I heard was a familiar voice, a female that I know. So I'm answering the question that she asked me, and while I'm answering, I'm you can hear me answer, but I forgot I was in here and I wasn't in here alone. But sometimes the mental takes over to where I don't realize I am in here or whatever the case may be. So I may remove myself from the room. Then for a minute, my head just moved and I saw his foot. And then I just leaned back and I started panicking. But why was I panicking? I don't know. I wasn't doing anything to hurt anybody. I wasn't in here hurting, harming, and I wasn't erratic. I wasn't doing none of that. I was answering the damn question that I heard in my head. Whether I heard the question or not doesn't matter. But it wasn't. It was nothing for me to worry about. So that's, oh my God. And I'm just trying to calm myself down. So when I was with my friend yesterday, I was so happy to be around her because she is very inquisitive about bipolar disorder. She does not, she's like, I don't even, I can't even imagine some of the things you tell me. Some of the things I tell her is like, that cannot be true. But it is the same sitting in front of someone, saying to someone, I can eat a loaf of bread and it will bunker me out. But I recently learned that the bread that I'm eating is triggering my narcolepsy. And I kid you not, that's exactly what it's doing. But there is no human in the 56 years that I have been living has been able to say that to me. But that is absolutely the truth. If anyone has ever saw me eat and saw me start to wobble, you would really say something she's saying is the truth, because what I read yesterday when I was describing what I'm going through, something in the bread, the potatoes, the refined carbs is triggering my narcolepsy. That's why you will not find me in places eating out in the streets and stuff, because why? I am a one drop away from someone doing something to me that I wouldn't want them to do. Because why? When you see me comatose like that, that's one of the reasons why you won't find me drinking around anyone. Because if I get to a point and you don't have any control of yourself when you lower your inhibitions. Now, I'm not sure if I used that term correctly, but if I didn't, just correct me and that's it. But I'm going to ask for a little bit of kindness in this new venture that I'm working on, because if this channel go sideways or I feel uncomfortable or that type of stuff, I'm going to delete the channel altogether. And then the people who I have emails for, I will record and send my videos to them that way. I took a while to contemplate deleting my current channel and to redo what I had to do. But then I went through whatever measures I had to, and it was like, no, I have already built consistency and whatever the case may be. I have looked into my stats deeply over the last 2 months, and I will say 2 months, and I have seen something that may, hinder someone else's recovery or venture or whatever the case may be. My journey now is to be in the now, and that's it. I was um I was in my room and I was thinking about a friend, an online friend, Coral. I was thinking about her over the years that I have known her. A lot of stuff that I was living with, she had no knowledge of. But a lot of the stuff that I was living with, she was able to understand because she's open minded. She didn't say, well, that's not true. But there are people that will, that's not. You cannot always say that's not true, because someone's story is someone's story. And when you have someone who is dealing with voices in their head, whatever the case may be, I really, 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 really wish people understood what that medicine does to you. I am traumatized deeply because of that medicine. I lost 13 teeth due to mental health medicine. You cannot tell me that an industry that is helping us is supposed to allow us to take something that they know is harming us or causing us to become worse in the name of getting better. It is not helpful. It is not helpful. So when I say a a I say things sometimes about the medical field. I am not against the medical field in no way, shape, or form, because I kid you not, if I need to call 911, I want to be able to call 911. But we have to open up our minds, look at what we see, and understand that we have to advocate for ourselves. That's the bottom line. If you don't take 5 minutes to say, this is what I'm feeling and I need this, you are in a sad state of affairs. I did a few things that could have cost me my life to get to where I am today, and I didn't care. But sometimes you have to get to the point where you don't care, and you have to do the hard stuff to get to where you want to go, because peace, some form of control, is all you need. If you are sitting down like I was from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, I couldn't do anything but cry. It was so bad for me one day when I heard somebody say, she cries all the time. And then one day, someone that loves me to the core just said, why? When are you going to stop the crying? And when I realized that, for that person who was absolutely pro Shay all the time, I understood I had to part ways and just be by myself. So it is what it is. And the person is still in my life. Why? Because they love me. So that's the bottom line. So we have to do the hard work sometimes for ourselves. Whatever it is that you feel inside, get on your phone, get to your computer, whatever it is, and start looking at some things, and whatever the case may be. I can't give you all the tea. I can't do your work for you. I can only do my work for me. But you have to ask the tough questions. And the one thing I want now, I don't want a band-aid on anything. I want a cure. So if you don't have something that's going to make me better, and if you get a medicine, absolutely write down everything you are feeling with that medication. Do not look for the symptoms, the side, and none of that. Start writing down how you feel, and then give it a few weeks, and then start researching the side effects. I was having a horrible situation with my teeth, and the dentist who couldn't understand it, he said, you have such strong teeth, what is going on? And I did, and then I just mentioned it one day, and my daughter said, Mommy, is that medicine you taking? And I'm like, so I'm like, and I got on the computer research, and what did I do? I asked a simple question, and then I looked for reviews from real people. And what on earth? People were asking, is anybody's mouth teeth dry rotting from this medicine? And another person, something's wrong with this, my teeth is just breaking in my gums. And I'm like, so I had to turn around and get off of that medicine. I'm like, I can't take that medicine anymore. And it is horrifying. One of my medicines contributed terribly with my fainting. I was bunkering out every week. I could barely leave my house, and it was so bad because my daughter was affected. I saw my daughter in such a way, and today it's so hard to see my daughter because she lived with a single parent who was mentally ill. And I know she understands now as an adult living with anxiety, but she doesn't understand to the fact that I understand and I can see her struggle. And what I try to do to alleviate some of her struggle is just part to see. I stay away and let her do what she needs to do. What I recently started doing is sending her, videos, uplifting things and stuff, and she'll send me back a heart, and she loved me, she missed me and stuff like that. But my daughter and I both have some same things, so we are not compatible to be around each other. And she doesn't really understand it because I do see where she wants to be around, but she also doesn't see me as a mother. So that's one of the reasons why I need to part the sea, because I don't want to be anything but a mother. And one of the reasons why is, and it's really funny because I see a lot of people who have that friendship with their children, and it's nice to have a friendship with your children, especially when you get to a point where you can have that, especially if you have a certain type of demographic going up. But I had to struggle a lot, so it was like, we had two eggs. You eat your food, baby. Mommy eat later. And then when she leave the table, and I leave it for her to eat the second meal, and then maybe whatever the third, I might eat the scrapings. So it was about survival for so long, and now it's to the point where just these last 2 months of me living here, and I can't even say 2 months because it's not even the 15th of the month, so I haven't even been here 2 months. So what I've actually been researching is not a month. It's not 2 months. It's less than 2 months. But you understand what I mean. I have noticed that my life has gotten better since I changed my zip code, and I had no idea if I was right or if I was wrong. I just had a feeling. So I did what I had to do for me. And now I realize that I can understand why people, or whatever, may feel as if I am not their cup of tea. Those are blessings, honey. Those are blessings. So I'm just gonna let you know, if you are around people and you feel like, oh, and you're laughing and everything, and you go home and you feel like, oh, I couldn't wait, and you get in your head, oh, just, you have to stop and say, okay, maybe that is not where you need to be. And then sometimes you have to ask yourself, if you are needing that person connection to just maybe not. So when you come into your own space, and one of the things that I actually love about me is that I have one thing I've always been used to saying for myself, and I grew my daughter up on that. Not everybody needs to see the color of your floor. That's it. My daughter never really understood what I meant by that. But now to hear her say, she has to go outside because she doesn't want so and so in her house. Oh, so guess what? I don't say anything. Sometimes there is nothing that needs to be said. When you hear someone speak reality and they're understanding and getting where they need to go, because my daughter doesn't come from a background of people who have open door. We don't swing the door like that. Very, very, very careful what comes in. You bringing in energy, you bringing in this, you bringing in that. But sometimes energy is brought in by people that you are connected to by birth. That does not mean you have to stay connected. I am really, really thankful for so many things that I had to learn on my own. When I learned that staying comfortable is not always the best for me, it's not. And then when I realized that I didn't understand what time means to me, but time is to be respected, boys and girls. You cannot get back to 5 minutes you wasted doing that. Now, I'm not saying you have to always be doing something, because 9 times out of 10, a person who has something going on up here has to keep doing something, because that's when the chatter stops. That's when the chatter stops. But we have to always remember, there are medications that you take that make you worse than what you were before you started. And I do not have any type of medical degrees. I do not. But I am a advocate for herbals. I absolutely, because I cannot tell you the blessings I had in them. So I am so thankful now to see that there are some medical prescribers that will ask you about ashwagandha and ask you about sea moss and stuff like that. Woo! Wait a minute. Somebody gave me something. Wait a minute. Where's my bag at? Oh, right here. Woo! Oh my goodness. Where is it? It's in the car. I got it. Boys and girls, you on. Oh, I ruined myself by getting up. Boys and girls, I am horrible. Ooh. Oh, sometimes I need to stay in this chair, boys and girls. Ooh. Oh, wow. Oh, I feel like, ooh, Lord have mercy. I need 5 minutes. My friend gave me some type of sea moss drink. I don't know what it is. I didn't get a chance, but it's in my car. I have to go downstairs, but I'm expecting a package today anyway, so I have to go downstairs. I thought, I'm going to say something. I had a stroke, and I'm having issues with my mouth. I have water built up. Sometimes I stutter. I'm not going to be correcting myself all the time, but just in case someone just like, what is going on? That's why. So I have to, slow down. I have talkativeness as a side effect of my mental health situation. So I am a chatterbox. I love me. I love me. I love me because my heart is kind. I am a Libra, which means I am one of the kindest people you would meet. But every Libra has a bomb in there. No betrayal. Don't betray a Libra. I kid you not. You want a friend, you have a friend in a Libra. But when you betray a Libra, you may not even understand. So I'm going to leave that there. Please, if you find out you just befriended a friend and they're a Libra and you're not a decent person, back away. Just be unavailable until you part the sea because a Libra is kind. I kid you not. But you cannot cross a Libra. And please don't think because you are way across the ocean that that's going to matter. It is not. I kid you not. I am not in any way, shape, or form going to even interchange my time with anyone that I feel that would bring me that type of distress because I have been healing through the storms and I had one after the other, after the other, after the other. Why? Because I was trying to continue to put the band-aid. I'm not putting any band-aids anymore. That's it. So, with that said, I was walking over there and I put two 5-pound weights on the floor because I thought I didn't have them. And then I was unpacking and I said, oh, and I found it and I put it over there by my thing where I do my little exercising and I buck up my foot on it. So you already know I have fibromyalgia. So anything that hits you feels a certain way. So it feels as if my leg is folded and I'm rubbing and rubbing and rubbing and rubbing that one toe on there that I hit. And you know what toe I hit? The ugly toe. Everybody has that ugly toe, that ugly toe. But anyway, anyway, I cannot say how happy I am to be feeling some of the things I'm feeling because I can't imagine being able to explain to someone what depression feels like while you're still in a place of getting your life together. I spoke to my doctor yesterday, my psychiatrist yesterday, and I was in a moment of having anxiety and my therapist was looking at me before I walked in the room and he said, "You're not you're not better today?" And I'm like, I don't have to be sitting in front of you crying. I don't have to be sitting in front of you not being able to wash up and all that other stuff for me not to be suffering from depression. I'm a real person. If you see people sitting behind a desk and they're looking for you to look a certain way, that person needs a new job. That's all they need. They need a new job. I went to register for some classes to be life coach, and then when I looked up the all the bells and whistles and then I went to my whatever resource and it says you don't need to go to school, your life is and I'm like and it's the truth. I can do anything I want to do if I try and try and try, but the one thing I need in life is security, consistency, and safety. Without those, you can't do. So, one of the things that bothers me now is what I see in my everyday life. Now, I'm with people. I don't know. I'm an empath. So, empathic people can feel. Now, just say there's this cute little sweet little being that always actually walks towards me and always says hi, just hi, 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 and I'm like hi, and I'm like you feel like you want a hug, sweet, 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 and then just say that the bear, maybe mama bear, papa bear, is not that hi, hi, you know that is hard to witness. And then I'm looking like, wow. And it just so happens that I push the elevator and I'm waiting for the elevator. Hi. And the little cutie is not moving because they're just smiling. But why is it that people cannot look at little people and see what they're trying to tell you? Why can't they look? I was walking and in the same day actually, and there was four little ones, and there was one little one. Now all the other ones, like little staircases, were walking, and they had no talking, no nothing, just walking like little soldiers. And then little one stomping on the floor and bib in the mouth and pointing to outside. And I gave you the opportunity, and I'm like, wow. Oh, if just 5 minutes outside could have done a whole lot. Sometimes we have to look and just take 5 minutes to see what these little ones are trying to tell us. And in that moment, I saw someone that was in the area look at me. And then when they spotted my eyes, they could see that I was about to cry. And then they put their head down to the floor. But I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, can I take the person outside for 5 more minutes? But I said that in my mind, but we can't do things like that. But I just wish I had the chance to tell people, just look and listen. I when my daughter was little, I would go to the park with her. I would go down the slides, I would do everything. I was a parent and a child at the same time. My daughter had the Barbie house, she had all of the Bratz stall, she had everything. My daughter was a single child, I was a single parent. I cried all the time, but I did the best I could not to cry directly in front of her. So there were times I knew I had to get on that floor. So I would get on the floor and I would play with it, and we would just, but there were times I was tired. I was tired. So what I actually did was I taught my daughter, if she saw whatever, can't remember what it was, to tell mommy it's time for mommy to take a time out. It's time for mommy to take a time out. So I don't know what it was, but I do know that I used to get a certain type of way. My head used to go back. So then she would say, mommy, time out time. So at timeout time, she and I both had to lay down. That was the only rule for timeout time for mommy. We both had to lay down. So I kid you not, we would both go in my room and lay down on the bed, and we would both conk out and take our nap, and we would get up. I had to build routines around being a single parent struggling because it was hard. It was hard. I remember one time when we had a loaf of bread, a dozen of eggs, and something else. A loaf, oh, some jelly, I think it was. And I couldn't continue to, no, rice. So I would make eggs and rice, put hot sauce and ketchup on it, and that's what we ate. And then when it got to the point where I would have sometimes a little bit more, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know anything about nutrition. All I knew is that I couldn't eat the food that I grew up on eating because I couldn't stand at the stove and cook that. It was too much. That was too big me. Those were big meals. I wasn't able to do that. My feet hurt. My back hurt. I was crying. I couldn't do it. So there wasn't that. And I also had a different taste palette I was trying to figure out. So I'm the spicy, I just couldn't do it, and I just couldn't do it. So I started doing little things, and then it was a food kitchen that used to have. You didn't. My daughter never knew we were eating at the soup kitchen. So, and it's really funny that I'm even on this channel saying this because this wouldn't have been on my other channel, but it is me now. So I'm just gonna do me. We used to go to the soup kitchen, and it is in the neighborhood I just moved from, and she used to go there, and I would sit down, wait for them to bring. But she was little. You know what she do? She would go up to the front and tell, whatever, and they would give her a tray, and she would go to tables, and she would put. So I saw kindness in my baby. I saw kindness, and then I never had any reason to. They never told me I had to, but I would, push chairs in. I would pick up the little trash around the table because I saw that people would come in and they would just sit down and they would eat. They would leave their tray. They wouldn't put the chair under and stuff. So I used to, wonder like, how do people do things like that? You just come in here and you take the blessing people give you. But when I stopped and looked, there are people that have a real bad case of take, take, and I never understood because I am a giver. But I kid you not, one of my fears in this world, I kid you not, I cry about it because just say a caseworker was watching my video and saw me hand someone a card, they would say, she gave something away. They ask you in your appointment, sometimes, did you ever give anything of value away? What is value to you? A plate of food? A can of raviolis that will poison you if you don't realize what's in it? Because Chef Boyardee is definitely not food. But I mean, are you serious? So sometimes I'm in there and I'm literally about to cry. There are times that I literally, I'm holding my bladder because my bladder is dropping because I'm like, am I about to lie? It's a greeting card. Is a can of food, and then I had it so bad because I would cook and say if I cook something and I eat, a portion of it and I can't eat it anymore. What if I wanted to offer that to someone, on the social web, on the web? Like, I have this pot, I cook this, and then look at the girl who's going to jail now. She took her EBT and she bought muffin mix or something like that, made cupcakes, sold it, made a business, and now she's going to jail for what? Oh, wow. So I'm so thankful that I saw people fighting for this girl not to go to prison. They're like, you want her to get a job. She had what she had. She made the best she could do with it. Why would you, penalize her for that? But I kid you not. This world is dangerous, boys and girls. We are really in some problems, but I'm going to tell you the truth about me as a single person, as a whatever. I am going to do one thing and one thing only, and that is stay in my lane. I am not going to jump on the bandwagon and do what a whole bunch of people do, knowing that when I end up in a situation, those a bunch of people are not going to be there to cushion me from my fall. Because one of the things I have absolutely found very, very intriguing is that the people closest to me, or DNA closest to me, would not bring me into their home if I needed somewhere to live. Nope, will not. If my car breaks down, no one DNA connected to me is going to call me and say, where are you at? I'm coming to find somebody. Nope, not at all. When I moved and I was going, nobody besides my brother offered me a helping hand. That is it. That is it. My friend showed up on time. When I moved in here, my coffee maker, my water thing, my laundry rack, King bought my laundry rack. I think it's my laundry rack, my mop, or whatever the case may be. Thank you. But anyway, I'm just saying, it's not about what people do for you. It's about who shows up when the storm gets tight. That is it. That is it, boys and girls. I kid you not. We have to be together. And I'm going to tell you something, and this is the God's honest truth. If anybody knows me to be who I am, just follow what I mean. If you say you're doing your budget and you have just $5, $1, put it in an envelope. If you go to the bus stop, write kindness on it. If you see somebody sitting next to you, you don't have to say anything. When you're getting on the bus, leave that envelope with that dollar or that $5 right there with kindness on it. Just see what your life will become when you start showing kindness. You don't know what it is when people do things, but I have learned that sometimes it is best when you do kindness not to speak on the kindness that you do. So that's one of the processes that I'm going through with in life, because I kid you not, my kindness has reached me up into stars. You have no idea what God has done for me. I sit in my tub. When I'm in that tub, when you hear me speaking to my Savior, I'm in here worshiping, honey. Nobody can tell me what I have not seen. I have seen, so I'm going to keep on doing what I do. But I'm working on a project now. I haven't showed y'all, but I have a kindness envelope in there. I'm working on trying to fix my printer so I can put the word kindness on it, whatever the case may be. But we have to show kindness. And I don't mean it has to be a stranger. It doesn't have to be a stranger. It could be a neighbor that you have. If your house is clean, and I don't mean to be whatever. If your house has foolishness all over the floor and you have, pets in your kitchen and stuff, I don't care if you clean your counters down. I'm not saying that you're a nasty person. Don't offer people food that you don't know if they're gonna throw it in the garbage. That's all I'm saying, because no one with a pet can offer me food and I eat unless I actually know that they keep up their house. And when I say that, their pet can't go in the kitchen. That's it. If you have ever had a cat hair in your eye, then you would understand what I mean. If you haven't, then it's fine. We have real allergies. People have allergies, the hair, the dander, whatever it is. So when you want to be kind to someone and you have a pet, think about what if that person has an allergy. That's one of the reasons why I will not take in Minnie and Peppa. And right now, my daughter is struggling with food and litter so bad. It's horrible, but I can't do everything. I can't do everything. And Mom, and I already said it. It's time to part the sea, baby, because they are children. That is it. I even this morning I woke up and I felt them, because they absolutely know I'm gonna push it. And plus, my friend, when I had Minnie and Pepper, between me and her taking care of Minnie and Pepper, but emotionally I was unwell. Why? Because Pepper and Minnie were not going in my kitchen. But see, now I have no barrier for them. But one animal, $350 fee. I don't have that. And God forbid they urine on the floor, whatever the case may be. I don't know if I'm going to stay in here, so I'm not doing a drop of damage in here. Nothing. I don't even want. I just put a thumbnail on the wall this morning. I can repair a thumbnail, but I'm not damaging anything in this apartment. So it is what it is. But we have to do what we can do for ourselves, honey. We can't rely on everything to come from wherever outside sources. I am so thankful. I took a taxi yesterday. That man said that he doesn't even want to mention or even hear a certain carrot in any way, shape, or form, how disgusted he is. And he said everyone who voted a certain way got just what they deserve. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I was dealing with something during that time, and someone was so happy to vote for a certain person, and I kept saying and saying and saying and saying, and look what happened. I said, you know what? I don't even want to have the conversation, because there are people really suffering, and I am one of them, and so are other people. But you have to be you have to be wise enough to know that you are just plain old Jimmy Jackass. If you could clearly not see that that was a whole big, it just was. But the reality is, wherever we are sitting now is the reality, and that is it. We cannot change yesterday. We can change today. So honey, be still and be quiet and be loyal, because guess what? Nobody is coming to save you, and that is it. That is it. That's why I am really thankful that I'm working on myself. I have decided to resume therapy. I'm going to therapy. I'm going to be 110% transparent with my therapist. Why? Because I need to be helped. I am 56 years old right now, and I am thankful for a whole lot of things, even the pain in the back of my neck right here. But I believe I believe I know where this trauma came from. But that's why my arm stays so close to this. But when I say I suffer from depression, I suffer from bipolar, I suffer from fibromyalgia, I suffer from syncope, I suffer from all of that. I have four of the top worst pains in the world. But I don't have to sit here and bawl out for you to see it, for you to believe that it's real. What you need to know is getting your life in order is a process that is something that has to be done. Getting to the point where you understand that you have to learn to be by yourself and learn to understand that you need to take care of yourself. One of the things that got me through some of the storms, and this is the truth. Okay, everything's a damn truth. Why do I say that? I don't know. Or is that one of my voices? Okay, anyway, we're gonna leave that alone. Okay, let me tell you something. I like things, but I may not like what you like. It doesn't matter. When I say things, things are things. Just ooh, Watch this. What? Hello? What? Hello?
You said what?
No, I was saying hello.
Oh, okay. Don't be answering my call no fucking what. I should make me think that I'm bothering you.
Woo! You're so funny. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm alright. My back was hurting me so bad when I got home yesterday.
Uh-huh. Oh.
It seems like at 12 o'clock I get a boost of energy any damn way. That's why I stay up so late, because I get a boost of energy. But I'm not getting up doing shit. It's something. I'm not washing a dish. I'm not sleeping. No, I'm not mopping. I'm not even washing my ass at 3 o'clock. I ain't doing shit. No. But I said, let me go. Boom.
Why though?
Huh?
But why?
Girl, I don't want to die by the projects in Port Chester, New Rochelle, or no fucking way. But I know there's been shots fired over there. Many shots fired over there in Mount Vernon by them fucking projects. What's wrong with you?
You talking about the guns in the waistband. That's what's wrong with me. You stop making me laugh, I stop screaming.
Yeah, well, them dogs, that's where they got them. They ain't got no, but they ain't like the cops. They ain't got them motherfuckers in no belt loop. Motherfuckers.
Girl, you're so funny. Boys and girls, I had to do that because she is so funny. She's just, I cannot believe. And let me see what time it is. 11:05, and I started doing this video at 9:36, I think it was. But anyway, she is so funny. I didn't know she wanted to take me to White Castles yesterday and another place. I didn't know, and I said, well, if I had known you, she said, well, why would I not have if I was already? I said, well, I don't volunteer people's time on their gas and stuff like that. She said, I was already there. So what I'm trying to do now is figure out if I'm going back down there today because I do have to take care of something. So I need to check the weather and all that other stuff. But I was trying to say something, and normally I would have forgotten. But the reason why I didn't forget is because I wrote myself a little teeny little note that said soap. Okay. There was a time when I needed to get out of the house because I just needed somewhere to go, some fresh air, nature, or whatever the case may be. And I would end up at the Dollar Tree. And when I went to the Dollar Tree, I didn't necessarily want to just pick up random stuff just because I was there. Because one thing I do know is that I like the crafting section. I like this, but like I have today, a room full of stuff I have nowhere to put. Why? Because I still don't have a shelf or two shelves to put up. So you understand. So when I used to go outside sometime, I used to say to myself, okay, I'm just going to go to the Dollar Tree and buy myself a bottle of soap, a bottle body wash. I would give myself $5 or maybe $10, whatever the case may be. At that time, the Dollar Tree was probably $1, then went to $1.25. Now it's $1.50. Now it's $1.75. The Dollar Tree is not my hustle and grind anymore. Not only that, a lot of what is in the Dollar Tree to eat, I can't eat. So I'm never gonna say, don't go to the Dollar Tree. Don't you spend your money where your money spent. I'm working on what's best for my health. Why? Because I know one thing that is something that I just can't get away from. What I eat today, I'm gonna pay the piper for 5, 6, 7 years from now. I'm pushing 60, honey, so I have to take care of myself. And it took me this long to get to the point where I was able to understand that what I'm putting in my body is reacting a certain type of way. So that's why. But a couple of days ago, I went to the Dollar Tree and I said, I'm not going to buy any soap. Why? Because I don't want Dollar Tree soap anymore. I don't want Dollar Tree soap anymore. When I get Dollar Tree soap, now Ajax, I don't mind using, but I'm just saying some of the other stuff. some of the soap in there that other one that I put that I use, I love it because it cuts grease. Awesome is just awesome because it cuts grease, but they have watered it down. If you didn't tip it over and see how much spread out on your rag, it's not even worth it. Unless, of course, I'm going to put it in my bathroom by my toilet because that's what I clean my toilet now with, and then I do a rinse over with vinegar. But at that time, I would go in there and I would say, okay, I'm going to get some soap. I would get soap, 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 soap. And I came home, and I don't have a problem having an abundance of soap if I'm going to use the soap. But then my skin started getting bad, peeling, and it was horrible. So then I would turn over the bottle and I would do little research, And I did a research on every single soap in the Dollar Tree, including Dove. And none of them are good soaps. Dollar Tree does not have one good soap. Now, the only reason why I can still use my Dollar Tree soap is because I also buy coconut oil. Inside of all of my body wash, I have virgin coconut oil in the bottle. But just say I didn't have coconut oil in those bottles and I have sensitive skin, which I didn't realize I have, but I have it. That soap is not good for me. So it's not. Since I started using palm olive, my hands have been getting much better, much better. So I will be sticking to palm olive soap from now on. So there goes that. But if you have to go outside, say you feel a little and you need to walk or whatever, you need to pick up something that is beneficial to you, something that you can absolutely say will help you in some form of way. There's one thing that a lot of people don't realize: crafting, yarn, sewing, all of those things are soothing for mood support because it takes your mind away from the storm. It gives you something to do, it puts some process in your day. But whatever you do, if you choose to, choose something that you absolutely love. That's it. Now, this lady that was making me laugh, this morning she said she woke up because she wanted to check on some of her neighbors to see how her neighbors were doing to make sure they were good. And she said to me, she said she was so proud of me because of the fact that I have such a kind heart. But she said to me, I need you to put that umbrella over your head and start focusing on your needs. I've been doing that, but clearly I'm not doing it enough. So I was thankful. Now, I'm not going to say, well, I'm doing this. No, she gave me advice. What she's seeing is clearly she needs to touch base on it. So she's reminding me why? Because she loves me. And she said to me how she felt so good seeing me in a taxi yesterday, going home, knowing that I was going home safe. And that is one of the reasons why I always say to people, when someone loves you, the word safe is the main focus when it comes to you. That's why I am really truly blessed that while I was sitting here, having a friendship relationship with someone that keeps saying, please do not put me in the friend zone, I am really understanding that the safety that I have been chasing and looking for has always been in the palm of my hand. So I'm going to have to work with God to figure out which direction I'm supposed to go, but I'm leaving it in the hands of God because I said, I want to do one thing and one thing only, and that's stay by myself. The beautiful thing is that I know even if I get married, me and my husband will never live under the same roof. We will always have to have our own residences. I absolutely know a few people who are married, who are happily married and live in their own homes. And the main reason for that is people's comfort. You have no idea what little things can trigger someone on a regular basis. But just imagine living with someone 10, 15, 20 years, and you wake up one day and you are not that person's person, or they are not yours. And then what you have to do, unask your comfort zone, your room, your board, your everything. And 9 times out of 10, there are people, and some of us have to understand, some of these guys are not going to unask their mamas. They're not. And some of these mamas are enabling their sons. That's it. And they're not going to be fully equipped to give a woman what they're supposed to do. When you marry, who you're supposed to cleave to? Your husband and your wife. But if you can't separate your mom, you know, just recently I saw a story where a man went through a divorce and he didn't realize where his mother played a very big role in why his wife left until after she left. But it was no going back after she was gone. Sometimes we can't see what's in front of us. We just can't see. But I am thankful for one thing and one thing only, that I woke up this morning and realized what direction my YouTube channel was going to go. So I will be cooking, but I will not be focused on stuff that I just can't eat and stuff that's unwell and all that other stuff, that bobbing and weaving. I can't do it. I cannot imagine how beautiful my insides feel compared to what it used to, for all the changes I went through. I kid you not. I'm trying to figure out now if I can reintroduce beef back into my system, because I had to give up pasta. I gave up pasta. Pasta is really something, and I'm thankful I gave up pasta, because one thing I can promise you about pasta: it will fill your belly, it will stretch your food, but it will thicken your thighs and the bottom of your back. So I don't want. I miss pasta now, but I'm gonna work out a calendar. I probably have like pasta like once a month, just to give me a little bit of bowl of pasta with some cheese and some sauce. But I had to learn self-control, because I have to be the one accountable to me. And when I'm walking around here now and I'm feeling the pain in my feet, it's not as bad as it was when I was weighing a certain amount. Last month I went on a scale. I was 190 pounds. And I knew I was around 190 because I got to the point where I was okay and I could feel a certain diet. I do not ever want to go to 180. If I reach 180, I'm going back up to 190, because 180, I look like I'm walking around with something that has maybe a band-aid on it, but I don't want to look like that. I was 180 before and I looked very unwell, so I don't want to look that way. But what I have to say is chicken broth, boom! Chicken broth is really making me feel, and I can see a lot of changes with chicken broth. So when I say I use chicken broth is actually what I realized it was. And it is a drink. It is something that fuels your body. But I'm thankful that I don't need to purchase chicken broth in a candy flavor, because the price of that chicken broth is ridiculous. And I'm not going to say don't buy a chicken broth that is a flavored into the candy. What I am going to say for me is I'm thankful that I'm separated the candy aspect from the chicken broth aspect, because a bag of mixed vegetables, onion chopped in four, and some chicken with a little bit left on the bone. That is some power, baby. But we have to detach the sweet that we are chasing, because that sweet is going to chase our money in a direction that it is not supposed to go. But like I always say, your money is your money, my money is my money. I'm frugal, so I'm thankful. I saved $35 yesterday changing over my Wi-Fi. So that 35, I'm gonna do the best I can to put in a little amen. God provides. Bye bye.